So Kickstarter now supports adding simple backer polls to your updates. And so this seems like something that I know some people are like, wait, they didn't support this before? I swear I've seen people do polls in Kickstarter updates before. And the reality is that's true. I think I've been running polls and polling my backers since my very first launch. But this is the first time that Kickstarter has now integrated a tool that hopefully makes this a little bit easier to do. But I'm going to share my experience from kicking the tires on this tool and how it works, what you can do with it, some limitations of the tool, and some features that I think might improve it. And I'll also open it for all of you after I present a little bit to just see how you might apply this tool. So how do you do this? Adding polls to Kickstarter updates is very simple. You just go to create an update as you would any update. And then you will now find that there is a new section below title and then body. Below the body, there is a new section that says poll optional, and then you have the option to attach a poll to it. So it's pretty simple. You do not need to attach polls to your Kickstarter updates, but this is an option that lives directly below the body of any Kickstarter update. Now, the poll feature is relatively simple. You can upload a single image that is in the regular widescreen aspect ratio, and it's going to be cropped to the standard 16:9 ratio. That is the same ratio that like your Kickstarter project image is. And so you can upload a single image if you want it to go with your poll. You can produce one question stem, one question that you ask on your poll, and then you can provide a minimum of two options. The only option here is select one from multiple choice. So it's not like a Google Forms where there's a lot of different questions that you can ask, or it's not like a survey where there's a lot of different questions that you can ask. It is very simple. There does not seem to be a limit to the number of options or answer choices that you can provide backers. I think I was just testing to see if they put a hard cap on it, and I think I got up to about 49 potential options for your polls before I decided to bail out. So it doesn't seem to be an upper limit on how many options that you can have, but just for the sake of making it a relatively good experience for your backers, I would recommend keeping your options limited. You can choose to close the poll automatically by setting the number of days or hours it will be live. For example, you can set a duration for just 3 days. You can set it for even just hours, or you can leave the poll open and then choose to close the poll manually, or you could also never close the poll. Okay. So relatively limited in terms of the number of features. It's a relatively simple new addition to your Kickstarter updates. Now, there are some kinks that still need working out in the tool as of when I tested it last week. One of the things that I noticed, and who knows, they may have already fixed this by now, but this was something that I noticed on my first road test, is that it says that you can upload for your poll image, you can upload any image like on Kickstarter, but for me, it was only JPEGs were rejected as invalid, and it was only PNGs that were working to be uploaded. When I was uploading JPEGs, it said the file has an invalid file type. So I think that's probably just a bug that likely will get fixed soon. Also, when I was uploading my image, it was not showing in the preview mode of my update. A lot of times when I'm creating my Kickstarter updates, I will go and edit and then hit preview, and then I might publish it from the preview, or I might go back to edit. But I was curious to see what my poll image and how it was going to look and how the poll was going to feel in the preview, and the image itself did not show up as of my testing of last week. So that's another bug that needs to get fixed. Another thing that is more of a design choice than a bug, but something that everyone should be understand and be wary of, is that non-backers can vote currently. They cannot comment to an update, but they can place a vote. So that was something that it was a little bit of an interesting choice. A lot of times when I've run polls in the past, I have used the poll as another reason to encourage people to back the Kickstarter campaign, where I would say things like, hey, to enter our poll, all you have to do is be a backer and then let us know which of these covers you like the best. And then sometimes we would incentivize that with a giveaway of some sort pulled at random. That ability to only deal with backers because only backers can comment, that is not something that this poll feature currently supports. Here's how it shows up for backers. A couple of things to point out. We know that when you post or publish a Kickstarter update, it shows up in emails, and the subject line of the emails for project updates are always the same. It's always project update, the number, and then the title of the project. They don't actually pull in your subject lines for your email subject lines for your updates. It's just very simple. But one thing this does do is it does add poll in parentheses to the project update if your project update includes a poll. So this could be, sometimes we talk about the importance of the email subject line and just pattern interrupting and making things stand out or catch the eye or hit the eye a little bit differently when there's, especially when there's so much noise and so many updates going out. So peppering in a few polls here and there can be one way to just make your updates stand out a little bit more in the inbox. It's small and subtle, but it sometimes small and subtle is what gets the open versus not. And so you can see here's how the update looks. And then the poll actually is down here at the bottom. So I have my image. And so the question stem shows up big here in this particular update. I did this as a marketing update. We've got ghouls and zombies coming out in the next Seas for Cthulhu book. And so I just did a very simple, stupid, because I wanted to test it for our backers. Are you team ghoul or team zombie? And as you can see when you get this email, it gives you two choices, and these choices are clickable. And if you click on those, it will actually automatically register that as your vote, as long as you are logged into Kickstarter. Now, if you are not logged into Kickstarter, you will have to log into Kickstarter first under an account in order for your vote to be recorded. And then also, interestingly enough, you are not able to re-vote or change your vote after it is cast. I think technically you could probably log out of one Kickstarter account, log into another Kickstarter account, and then click on that same email or go to that update. And then that would be one way to vote twice. But once a particular account has placed a vote for a poll, it's unable to edit that vote. So just another thing to be aware of. Now, after the vote start coming in and after things are start tabulated is just a simple poll result that will show up underneath your Kickstarter update. So here's my team ghoul or zombie, and you can see it generates a little bar chart and the percentage and the total number of votes. It will also, if you are logged in, it will show you with a little icon what you voted for. You can see the option, the total votes cast for it, and the percentage for each option. You can see which choice you voted for and with the icon of your account by it. Creators can vote in their own polls, but they do have to be logged in to vote. So that's something to consider. And this is another big thing, which is potentially troublesome depending upon how you've used polls in the past or used backer commenting to do your polls. Creators cannot see who voted or what they voted for. All you can see is the percentage breakdowns and the total number of votes cast, but you can't say, I can't see all the specific names of people that are backers and chose Team Ghoul, for example. Okay. So I want to, before I share some of my thoughts on how to implement and how this feature might be improved a little bit, I'm curious if there are questions that you have or just thoughts on how you might use this feature in your next launch. Anyone want to share any ideas? Greg, you're still unmuted. Yeah. So it's active on all campaigns now. So you can actually go to a campaign that's already run and post an update there, and the poll feature will be there.
It would be interesting as a creator, you could actually ask your readers, I could go this direction or I could go that direction. Which would you rather see first? Talking a longer story. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. We did things for a sync campaign a while back where we did a choose your own adventure. And we asked backers to, hey, we gave them a couple of simple choices at the end of it. And then John wrote based on what they selected. And this would have been a good little feature for that, would have made that very clear.
I think that maybe we can hold old backers and lure them back into the new campaign. I think that's a good technique. It's not all old backers come over to the new ones. Also, I thought it'd be interesting. You're saying that you cannot, excuse me, that non-backers can also vote. And I think that might also be able to be used. What do you think about using that, guys, as a way to lure them to vote? In the past, it was like, if you want to vote, become a backer. And now maybe use the vote as a way to make them a backer.
Yeah, there's no way to enforce it. In the past, it used to be like if you wanted to comment to enter a poll, you had to be a backer at least for a minute in order to post it. And so this does allow you to participate without and chime in without actually being a backer. And I know that could potentially open you up to bots or botting or other things that for abuse, even though everyone does not necessarily have to be a backer, but they do have to have a Kickstarter account, I think, in order to vote. So there is some protection there.
I guess maybe if people vote for something and what they voted for wins, it's what you voted for won. So now back it. You're going to get what you want. That could be an approach.
Yeah, I've always thought that it was a good just general strategy that if you could get people bought in and feel like they're a part of something by making their voice heard and then being responsive to it, that's a great strategy to lead them toward a purchase decision. Absolutely. Anyone else have any thoughts on how they might use or if this is something that they would use? So some things that I would like to see improved in this tool is, again, first the obvious, fix the image issues and support the ability. But this is a big one that most of the polls tools that I've seen other platforms have, instead of just the one widescreen image that you can post, a lot of times tying questions to images is really smart, especially for the stuff that we do. Let's say we wanted people to vote on covers. You could do a small gallery of covers and try to squeeze that all into one widescreen image at the top. But to make it more clear, it would be cool if each of the answers choices could be an image that you could upload. I think that would be a nice improvement and something that some of the other platforms do, like in their pledge manager and things like that. Adding that feature would be good. I also think that it would be nice if creators had control over who can vote. Just the ability to say, hey, everyone can vote or backers only seems like an easy thing to plug on there. I also think that if the creator could control whether it's anonymous voting or backer revealed voting, I think that would be helpful. I like to see all the names of and reward sometimes backers who participate in our Kickstarter polls. But if I can only see the counts of the votes and not who actually voted, that means I would still need backers to go in the comments if I wanted to do a random draw for backers to incentivize backers who vote. So that's just something that I've done in the past that this does not necessarily enable this, even though the tool is a nice improvement.